Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm Abby Peel, your host. For 22 years, Emilio Cancio-Bello has represented his town of Sutton on the Kearsarge School Board. As he bows out, let's hear these reflections on his service.
I wanted to say welcome to everybody who came to have this little celebration for Emilio, who has been serving on the school board since the earth cooled, 22 years. And I think it's more than appropriate to say thank you for your service and thank you for all the wisdom that you shared with everybody. I, in my short tenure here, in my last 7 years, have thoroughly enjoyed working with you. And I know that Allison has worked with Doreen and past members to put a little retrospective together and a little history together to just acknowledge your service. So thank you very much, Emilio. Congratulations, and thanks for your service.
Thanks, Emilio. I'm just going to read a few words that some of us have put together, and then I do have something from Jerry. He wished he could be here, but he just got over COVID, and so he asked me to read something. But from the board, the school board would like to honor Emilio for his 22 years of service as a school board member representing the town of Sutton by presenting him with this engraved clock. Thank you for your 22 years of service to KRSD, and it's a very nice Simon Pierce clock that I'm not going to touch. Emilio was elected to the board in March of 2000, so that was 22 years ago. He served on many committees and dedicated immeasurable personal time to our district. Emilio started as a member when the late Dr. Tom Brennan was superintendent, and the SAU offices were in an old house where the cupola now stands over there. He also worked with Jerry Frew as well as our current superintendent, Winfred Fenneberg. The facilities and transportation committees in particular were his focus, being an integral part of the passing and constructing of the high school second floor addition, seems like a very long time ago now, and the new middle school completed in 2008. Also, Emilio dedicated his time to countless meetings with parents in the Transportation Committee, evaluating and reconstructing our bus routes over the entire district. Almost every year, I feel like you reconstructed those bus routes. Taking the time to ride on the bus routes himself and seeing firsthand where our buses traveled to transport our students. On behalf of the school board and the entire Kearsarge community, thank you, Emilio, for your dedication and service to our students and our district. And I want to present you with the clock. But I think I'm going to read Jerry's thing, and then you can come up and we can shake hands, and I'll present you with the clock. So this is from Jerry. For all of you, or first of all, as your superintendent of schools in my 7-year tenure in the KRSD, I could not have asked for a better school board to work for. From the initial interview and the board who hired me to the board in place at the time of my departure, it was an incredibly positive experience and the envy of many of my colleagues throughout the state. Emilio Cancio-Bello played a significant role in that experience. Throughout his service to the KRSD community, Emilio was always concerned, dedicated, supportive, and a tireless advocate for the best education possible for the children of the school district. He always took pride in his Sutton Central School, but beyond that was a passionate and fierce advocate for the children of all abilities in all of the schools. He left his footprint, literally, I would imagine, somewhere in the cement on the Kearsarge Regional Middle School facility, the high school auditorium project, and essentially any facility related throughout the district during his tenure of service. In addition, his tireless dedication and work on the Transportation Committee would often find him personally at a bus stop with concerned parents and the transportation director trying to work out solutions to safety concerns while also protecting the integrity of the system and policies developed by the board. During his many years of service in contract negotiations, Emilio was always mindful of balancing the interests of the staff, retaining them, and keeping our district one of the most sought-after districts to work in, while also balancing the needs and concerns of his Sutton neighbors and taxpayers of the district. He was always an advocate of integrity and accountability, both at the individual level and at the organizational level. Emilio often spoke of the hours he spent at the dump, or perhaps the PC term is transfer station, but to Emilio it was the dump, consulting with his constituents to keep a pulse on what they were thinking. Regardless of the issue or committee on which he was serving, and there were many, Mr. Cancio-Bello was always prepared. He had done his homework and devoted unimaginable hours of service to the KRSD communities to present fair and thoughtful discourse. I recall several occasions when Emilio and Chairman Dan Wolf might get involved in a very spirited debates during a meeting, but in the end, whatever the result, they could be found at the end of the meeting walking out together, laughing, joking, poking each other, and often determining whose turn it was that year to purchase the chicks. They both raised chickens. They did not always agree, but they always agreed that disagreement could be respectful, and it was. It would be safe to say that in his many years of service, Emilio had an impact and played a role or offered a perspective in every area of school district operations and the organization as a whole. In closing, suffice it to say that Emilio Cancio-Bello was a role model of a board member. He always respected the role of the administration, valued and honored the input of his constituents, understood and respected his role as a school board member, and above all else was dedicated to the success of every child in the district. His legacy to the KRSD has and will continue to be felt for decades. Thank you, Emilio, for helping to guide this district into what it has become. It was a privilege to work with you with deepest respect and much gratitude, Jerry. So I think you should come forward.
You don't want to touch it? Yeah, go ahead and touch it. I want
I'll
your
touch it.
fingerprints on it. That's legacy.
Presenting this to Emilio for his 22 years of dedication to our district. It's beautiful.
If I could talk, I would say something. Thank you all very much. This is amazing. This district is very different now than it was 22 years ago, as Barbara might remember, and you, Dan. Many things have happened, and I recall that as I told my kids about the new changes and the new progress, they all said to me, "Why couldn't it happen at my time?" So, you know, through the years, many things have happened, and I've been very proud to be part of it. I have ridden the buses. I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was being told was correct, and most of the time it wasn't. So I learned a great deal there. But I remember a lot of things that about people who have helped me along, and I want to mention a few of them. I'll start from the left with Larry. Larry was there always when we needed things, from changing light bulbs at Sutton to taking care of transportation, as we say in Spanish, solavalla, which means, I won't translate. It's yours, baby. And Doreen has always been there from my first day here. And I always told her that if she quit, I was leaving. So I anticipated you. And Dan, indeed, what Jerry said was absolutely true. We were at each other's throats constantly because we disagreed, but we've always been friends. We've always worked it out, and because we all want the best for the district, and this is why it always worked out. So thank you for your guidance and for your, oh my gosh. And Andrew, I can't say enough about Andrew because that auditorium is his. He built it. He spent millions of hours in that place. He was the one who actually made sure all the nuts and bolts were the proper size, and light bulbs and speakers and whatever else. So that's his baby. But during the building of the middle school, I also learned a lot about what to do and what not to do, and how to make things get done properly for the kids. And that was all. That was our goal. So thank you all. You get to play with that school now. So. And thank you for the administration. I can't say enough about what Winfried has done and what Michael has done with this administration and how things are going today. And I think it's probably one of the best combinations of school board composition and administrating composition working together. So it's yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Emilio, for your years of service. When we return, we'll head down to the New Hampshire Telephone Museum to see what they've cooked up for this fall. But first, let's introduce you to another underwriter of your Yankee Chronicle.